this video a couple times, but things just aren't working out for me today. So hopefully this is it. So today I'm going to be showing you the Breya Etherium Shaper Artifact Tribal Commander deck. This deck is not mine, it belongs to my boyfriend, but I have contributed to some cards in here, and I'm a little familiar with it. There are going to be some infinite combos, and there's just a lot of cool cards in here, so I'm excited to show you. I did separate the lands, and we'll go through that first because that tends to be a little boring, and then we'll get to the good stuff. So, the first land that we have is this beautiful Academy Ruins. You can tap it to add colorless, or pay to tap it. Put target artifact card from your graveyard on top of your library. Buried Ruin. You can add colorless or pay to tap it to sacrifice Buried Ruin and return target artifact card from your graveyard to your hand. Command Tower. Add to your mana pool 1 mana of any color in your commander's color identity. Watery Grave. I might not read all the lands since, I've read a lot of them before. Great Furnace. Inventor's Fair. At the beginning of your upkeep, if you control 3 or more artifacts, you gain 1 life. You can tap it to add colorless to your mana pool. Pay for, tap it, sacrifice Inventor's Fair. Search your library for an artifact card, reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle your library. Activate this ability only if you control 3 or more artifacts. Snow-Covered Island. Foil Evolving Wilds. Spire of Industry. You can tap it to add colorless to your mana pool, or tap it to pay a life. Add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. Activate this ability only if you control an artifact. Pretty Island. Flooded Strand. You can fetch for an island or plains. Silent Clearing. Urborg Tomb of Yawgmoth. Each land is a swamp in addition to its other land types. Foil Reliquary Tower. Also, please don't mind the dirty sleeves. Arcane Sanctum. I believe in another video I'm going to de-sleeve and re-sleeve this with new sleeves for him. Fabled Passage. I believe somebody requested that, so I will do that in another video. Polluted Delta. But I have to go buy new sleeves. Exotic Orchard. Godless Shrine. Glacial Fortress. Bloodstained Mire. Pretty Foil Swamp. I hope you don't mind that I'm going through the lands quite quickly. Seat of the Synod. Ancient Den. Sacred Foundry. Fiery Islet. Pachuca Bog. Prismatic Vista. Arcane Lighthouse. I like this one. You can tap to add colorless, or pay 1, tap it until end of turn. Creatures your opponents control lose hexproof and shroud and can't have hexproof or shroud. Darksteel Citadel. Pretty Mountain. Steam Vents. And City of Brass. So those are the lands, and we'll move those off to the side. Now we'll get to the good stuff. So Etherium Shaper is the commander. She is white, blue, black, and red. Legendary artifact creature, human. When Breya Etherium Shaper enters the battlefield, create 2 1/1 blue Thopter artifact creature tokens with flying. Pay 2, sacrifice 2 artifacts, and choose 1. Breya deals 3 damage to target player. Target creature gets -4/-4 until end of turn, or you gain 5 life, and she is a 4/4. My boyfriend really loves to play this deck against my Kalia because her one ability can just destroy Kalia if I don't have protection on her. We will put her right there. So I just opened this card in another video, Karn Living Legacy. We just put this in here so we're not sure how it's going to play. I'm not going to read this, I'm just going to show you, but I will read the other cards. Also, if you see something that may have been banned, if you could please let me know. I haven't kept up and we haven't played with this deck in a while, but there's stuff that we wanted to add in here, so it'd be nice to know if something was banned. Karn, the Great Creator, a 4-mana legendary planeswalker. Activated abilities of artifacts your opponent's control can't be activated. His +1 until your next turn. Up to 1 target non-creature artifact becomes an artifact creature with power and toughness, each equal to its converted mana cost. -2. You may choose an artifact card you own from outside the game or in exile. Reveal that card and put it into your hand. He comes in at 5 for 4 mana. Urza, Lord High Artificer. Legendary creature, human artificer. When Urza, Lord High Artificer enters the battlefield, create a 0/0 colorless construct artifact creature token with this creature gets +1/+1 for each artifact you control. Tap an untapped artifact you control and add a blue. You can pay 5, shuffle your library, then exile the top card. Until end of turn, you may play that card without paying its mana cost. It is a 1/4 for 4. Tezzeret, Master of Metal. +1, reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal an artifact card. Put that card into your hand and the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. -3, target opponent loses life equal to the number of artifacts you control. -8, gain control of all artifacts and creatures target opponent controls. He comes in at 5 for 6 mana, and it's foil. We have foil Saheeli the Gifted. +1, create a 1/1 colorless servo artifact creature token. Another +1. The next spell you cast this turn costs 1 less to cast for each artifact you control as you cast it. -7, for each artifact you control, create a token that's a copy of it. Those tokens gain haste. Exile those tokens at the beginning of the next end step. Saheeli the Gifted can be your commander, and she comes in at 4 for 4. Ugin the Ineffable. For 6 mana, this is a promo. Colorless spells you cast cost 2 less to cast. +1, exile the top card of your library face down and look at it. Create a 2/2 colorless spirit creature token. When that token leaves the battlefield, put the exile card into your hand. -3, destroy target permanent that's 1 or more colors. It comes in at 4 for 6 mana. Saheeli Ray. Some of you know that this creates an infinite combo with another card that happens to be in this deck. Her +1, scry 1, Saheeli Ray deals 1 damage to each opponent. -2, create a token that's a copy of a target artifact or creature you control, except it's an artifact in addition to its other types. That token gains haste. Exile it at the beginning of the next end step. -7, search your library for up to 3 artifact cards with different names. Put them onto the battlefield, then shuffle your library. She comes in at 3 for 3. Cauldron Complete. Legendary artifact equipment. It's a living weapon and indestructible. Equipped creature gets +5/+5 and has first strike, trample, indestructible, haste. And whenever this creature deals combat damage to a creature, exile that creature. It is equip 7, and you pay 7 for this artifact. Blasphemous Act, a sorcery. I'm not going to read this, but Cyclonic Rift. Return target non-land permanent you don't control to its owner's hand, and you can overload for 7. Thopter Assembly. Artifact creature. Thopter with flying. At the beginning of your upkeep, if you control no Thopters other than Thopter Assembly, return Thopter Assembly to its owner's hand and create 5 1/1 colorless Thopter artifact creature tokens with flying. It is a 5/5 for 6. Master Trinketeer. Creature. Dwarf Artificer. Servos and Thopters you control get +1/+1. You can pay 4 to create a 1/1 colorless Servo artifact creature token. It is a 3/2 for 3. I don't know if this is Smothering Tith or Smothering Tithe, but it is a 4-mana enchantment. Whenever an opponent draws a card, that player may pay 2. If the player doesn't, you create a colorless treasure artifact token with tap it, sacrifice this artifact, and add 1 mana of any color. And this is foil. We have a foil Hellkite Tyrant. It's a creature, dragon, flying, and trample. Whenever a Hellkite Tyrant deals combat damage to a player, gain control of all artifacts that player controls. At the beginning of your upkeep, if you control 20 or more artifacts, you win the game. It is a 6/5 for 6 mana. Sai, Master Thopterist. Legendary creature, human artificer. Whenever you cast an artifact spell, create a 1/1 colorless Thopter artifact creature token with flying. You can pay 2 to sacrifice 2 artifacts and draw a card. It is a 1/4 for 3. Memnarch. Legendary artifact creature, wizard. You can pay 3. Target permanent becomes an artifact in addition to its other types. Pay 4. Gain control of target artifact. It is a 4/5 for 7. I love the foiling on this one. It's very pretty. Lithoform Engine. Legendary artifact for 4 mana. You can pay 2 to tap it. Copy target activated or triggered ability you control. You may choose new targets for the copy. Pay 3, tap it. Copy target instant or sorcery spell you control. You may choose new targets for the copy. Pay 4, tap it. Copy target permanent spell you control. Mycosynth Lattice. 6 mana artifact. All permanents are artifacts in addition to their other types. All cards that aren't on the battlefield, spells, and permanents are colorless. Players may spend mana as though it were mana of any color. Filigree Angel. Artifact creature, angel with flying. When Filigree Angel enters the battlefield, you gain 3 life for each artifact you control. It is a 4/4 for 8 mana. Steel Hellkite. Artifact creature, dragon with flying. You can pay 2 to give it +1/+0 until end of turn, or pay X. Destroy each non-land permanent with converted mana cost X, whose controller was dealt combat damage by Steel Hellkite this turn. Activate this ability only once each turn. It is a 5/5 for 6. Settle the Wreckage, an instant. For 4 mana, exile all attacking creatures target player controls. That player may search his or her library for that many basic land cards, put those cards onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle his or her library. Rout. You may cast Rout anytime you could cast an instant if you pay 2 or more to cast it. Destroy all creatures. They can't be regenerated. Jorah's Familiar for 4. It's an artifact creature bird. It has flying, and historic spells you cast cost 1 less to cast, and it is a 2/2. Panharmonicon for 4 mana. If an artifact or creature entering the battlefield causes a triggered ability of a permanent you control to trigger, that ability triggers an additional time. Perforos, God of the Forge. Legendary enchantment. Creature god. Indestructible. As long as your devotion to red is less than 5, Perforos isn't a creature. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, Perforos deals 2 damage to each opponent. You can pay 3 to give your creatures +1 until end of turn. It is a 6/5 for 4. Whirler Rogue. Creature, human rogue, artificer. When Whirler Rogue enters the battlefield, create 2 1/1 colorless Thopter artifact creature tokens with flying. Tap 2 untapped mana Skull Clamp, artifact equipment. Equipped creature gets +1, -1. Whenever equipped creature dies, draw 2 cards, equip for 1. Etherium Sculptor for 2. Artifact creature, Vidalcan Artificer. Artifact spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. It is a 1/2. Elspeth Knight Errant Planeswalker. +1. Put a 1/1 white creature token onto the battlefield. +1. Target creature gets +3/+3 and gains flying until end of turn. Negate. You get an emblem with artifacts, creature, enchantments, and lands you control if indestructible. She comes in at 4 for 4. Anointed Procession, a 4-mana enchantment. If an effect would create 1 or more tokens under your control, it creates twice that many of those tokens instead. Steel Overseer for 2. Artifact creature construct. You can tap it to put a +1/+1 counter on each artifact creature you control. It is a 1/1. Magister Sphinx. It is foil. Artifact creature Sphinx with flying. When Magister Sphinx comes into play, target player's life total becomes 10. It is a 5/5. He loves to play this card against me because my Kalia deck has a lot of lifelink, and this pretty much says no to my lifelink. Noxious Gearhulk. Artifact creature construct with menace. When Noxious Gearhulk enters the battlefield, you may destroy another target creature. If a creature is destroyed this way, you gain life equal to its toughness. It is a 5/4 for 6. Aethersworn Adjudicator. Artifact creature Vidalcan Knight with flying, and you can pay 3 to destroy target creature or enchantment, or pay 3, untap Aethersworn Adjudicator. It is a 4/4 for 5. Brutaclad Telker Engineer. Legendary artifact creature, Artificer. Creature tokens you control have haste. At the beginning of combat on your turn, create a 2/1 blue mirror artifact creature token. Then you may choose a token you control. If you do, each other token you control becomes a copy of that token. It is a 4/4 for 6, and it is foil. Eldrazi Displacer. Devoid, and you can pay 3 to exile another target creature, then return it to the battlefield tapped under its owner's control. It is a 3/3 for 3. Mirror Retriever for 2. It is an artifact creature, Mirror. When Mirror Retriever dies, return another target artifact card from your graveyard to your hand. It is a 1/1. We have Thopter Foundry for 2. You can pay 1, sacrifice a non-token artifact, create a 1/1 blue Thopter artifact creature token with flying. You gain 1 life. Spell Swindle, an instant. Counter target spell. Create X colorless treasure artifact tokens, where X is that spell's converted mana cost. They have tap it, sacrifices artifact. Add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. Chromatic Lantern for 3. Lands you control have tap it, add 1 mana of any color, or tap this artifact and add 1 mana of any color. Commander Sphere for 3. You can tap it to add to your mana pool 1 mana of any color in your commander's color identity. Sacrifice a commander sphere, draw a card. Hannah, Ship's Navigator, legendary creature, human artificer. You can pay 3 to tap her. Return target artifact or enchantment card from your graveyard to your hand. She is a 1/2 for 3. Foil Fumigate, sorcery. Destroy all creatures. You gain 1 life for each creature destroyed this way. Efficient Construction, enchantment for 4. Whenever you cast an artifact spell, create a 1/1 colorless Thopter artifact creature token with flying. Thopter Sky Network for 4. It is an enchantment. At the beginning of your upkeep, if you control an artifact, put a 1/1 colorless Thopter artifact creature token with flying onto the battlefield. Whenever 1 or more artifact creatures you control deal combat damage to a player, draw a card. Vandal Blast, sorcery for 1. Destroy target artifact you don't control. Pia and Kirin Nalar for 4 mana. Legendary creature, human artificer. When Pia and Kirin Nalar enter the battlefield, create 2 1/1 colorless Thopter artifact creature tokens with flying. You can pay 3, sacrifice an artifact, and Pia and Kirin Nalar deal 2 damage to any target, and it is a 2/2. Sharding Sphinx, artifact creature Sphinx with flying. a 4/4 for 6. I really like the art on that one. Felidar Guardian for 4, creature cat beast. When Felidar Guardian enters the battlefield, you may exile another target permanent you control, then return that card to the battlefield under its owner's control. It is a 1/4. This creates an infinite combo with Saheeli Ray that I showed earlier. Baleful Strix, artifact creature bird for 2 mana, flying and death touch. When Baleful Strix enters the battlefield, draw a card. It is a 1/1. This is one of my favorite arts. And it looks stunning in foil. Darksteel Ingot for 3, indestructible. Tap it to add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. Jorah Weatherlight Captain for 4, legendary creature, human artificer. Whenever you cast a historic spell, draw a card. She is a 3/3. Deadeye Navigator, creature spirit, soulbound. As long as Deadeye Navigator is paired with another creature, each of those creatures has pay 2. Exile this creature, then return it to the battlefield under your control. It is a 5/5 for 6. Magistrate Scepter for 3. You can pay 4 to put a charge counter on Magistrate Scepter. Tap it to remove 3 charge counters from Magistrate Scepter and take an extra turn after this one. Tezzeret, Master of the Bridge, legendary planeswalker. Creature and planeswalker spells you cast have affinity for artifacts. +2, Tezzeret, Master of the Bridge, deals X damage to each opponent, where X is the number of artifacts you control. You gain X life. -3, return target artifact card from your graveyard to your hand. -8, exile the top 10 cards of your library. Put all artifact cards from among them onto the battlefield. He comes in at 5 for 6 mana. Merciless Eviction, choose 1, exile all artifacts, all creatures, all enchantments, or all planeswalkers. Cranial Plating for 2, artifact equipment. Equipped creature gets +1/+0 for each artifact you control. Pay 2 black, attach cranial plating to target creature you control, or equip 1. Chief of the Foundry for 3, artifact creature construct. Other artifact creatures you control get +1/+1. It is a 2/3. Padim, Council of Innovation, legendary creature, Vidalcan Artificer. Artifacts you control have hexproof. At the beginning of your upkeep, if you control the artifact with the highest converted mana cost, or tied for the highest converted mana cost, draw a card. It is a 1/4 for 4. Treasure Mage for 3, creature, human, wizard. When Treasure Mage enters the battlefield, you may search your library for an artifact card with converted mana cost 6 or greater. Reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle your library. It is a 2/2. Mirrodin Besieged for 3. It is an enchantment. As Mirrodin Besieged enters the battlefield, choose Mirren or Phyrexian. Mirren, whenever you cast an artifact spell, create a 1/1 colorless mirror artifact creature token. Phyrexian, at the beginning of your end step, draw a card, then discard a card. Then, if there are 15 or more artifact cards in your graveyard, target opponent loses the game. Felwar Stone for 2. You can tap it to add to your mana pool 1 mana of any color that a land an opponent controls could produce. Sword of the Meek, a 2 mana artifact equipment. Equipped creature gets +1/+2, equip for 2. Whenever a 1/1 creature comes into play under your control, you may return Sword of the Meek from your graveyard to play, then attach it to that creature. Mirrored Battlesphere for 7, artifact creature, mirror construct. When Mirror Battlesphere enters the battlefield, create 4 1/1 colorless mirror artifact creature tokens. Whenever Mirror Battlesphere attacks, you may tap X untapped mirror you control. If you do, Mirror Battlesphere gets +X/+0 until end of turn, and deals X damage to the player or planeswalker it's attacking. It is a 4/7. I love the little dudes in the art. They're cute. Tezzeret the Seeker. +1, untap up to 2 target artifacts. -7, search your library for an artifact card with the converted mana cost X or less and put it onto the battlefield, then shuffle your library. -5, artifacts you control become 5/5 artifact creatures until end of turn. He comes in at 4 for 5. Karn, Scion of Urza, legendary planeswalker, +1. Reveal the top 2 cards of your library. An opponent chooses one of them. Put that card into your hand and exile the other with a silver counter on it. -1. Put a card you own with a silver counter on it from exile into your hand. -2. Create a 0/0 colorless construct artifact creature token with. This creature gets +1/+1 for each artifact you control. It comes in at 5 for 4. This is the last card in the deck. Shadow Spear for 1 mana, legendary artifact equipment. Equipped creature gets +1/+1 and has trample and lifelink. +1 permanents your opponent's control, lose hexproof and indestructible until end of turn. Equip 2. I recommend this deck for anybody that loves artifacts, or possibly like infinite combos, because you can have so many in this deck. There's even more that you can have apart from what's already in here. And then if you also like to create an army of tokens that can get really big, this deck is great for you too. This deck is really fun. I have played it a couple of times. It's been a while though, so I kind of forgot what was in here. But it's definitely enjoyable, and it's really, like, what's the word? Like, you can do a lot with it. Versatile, that's the word. And it has answers for almost everything. So I highly recommend this deck if you're looking for a new commander deck to try out. I will be posting a couple more videos, I think, this week. So be on the lookout for that. And if you like this kind of content, please consider liking and subscribing. I will be posting more videos soon. I will see you all soon. Thanks for watching.